for the paved road up to the community school. Now, we left it like that because it was decided that, well, actually, I was part of a committee that, before we had a municipality, we got in touch with the minister. His name was Charbonneau. He was a social credit minister of highways. And we were under the highways grant, and they almost agreed to put on a 30-mile-an-hour speed limit. They had their engineers were out here, they checked all the roads, and they just about did it, then the election came along and the NDP got it. So that was the end of our 30-mile-an-hour speed limit. Now, at the present time, and I've spoken to a councillor or others who say, well, we'll stick with the 40K because people drive 50 anyway. And the fact of the matter is that 50 is the de facto speed limit, if not the de jure speed limit. But it's all in the hands of a constable in his vehicle who will decide whether he's going to give you a ticket if you're going over 40 or over 50. And that's not right. It's not right that the speed limit be 40, but everybody drives over 50 because that's the way it's enforced. Either are they going to fish or cut bait? Either make it a 50 or a 40, and we can all crawl around. But you know what the best solution is? I'll tell you. It doesn't cost anything. All you got to do is let the roads continue to deteriorate. So we're back to the old gravel roads. And nobody will drive 40K. So let's get with it smart now. And you guys tell us what's going to be done, not somebody who's in a highway department or somebody who's a violent enforcement officer. Thank you.
So, yeah. On that comment, it is a technical judgment as to what is a safe speed limit for a road. I can't do it, I don't think anybody on the council can do it. The question in my mind is, can our public works staff do it? I mean, are they in a position to do they have the expertise, or have they hired the expertise to make those appropriate judgments? I think that's what you're asking.
Well, I think you can tell him what to do or get a report.
Well, put yourself in that position. I wouldn't, I don't think any member of council would want to say, my judgment of what's safe on that road is X or Y. And then an accident happens and I go, and someone says, what technical expertise, what qualifications did you have to sort of assign that as a speed limit X or Y? I mean, I don't think that's a technical issue, but what I think you're saying is that the staff should basically report to council and explain how they are coming to these determinations. One of the questions from council would say, are you technically qualified to make these determinations? Have you gone to a traffic engineer, to support your conclusions? Yes, no. I mean, if the answer is no, then perhaps, the next question from council would be, well, maybe you should. This is an issue, it's debated in the community. We have uncertainty as to whether we've got the right numbers or the wrong numbers here. Please, get that talent, give us some expert technical advice with someone willing to sort of say, I deem this appropriate number. I mean, that could be sort of the back and forth that takes place to get to that resolution.
Well, all I can say is that many people, if not all of us, drive 50. The people who are driving 40. I know when I drive 40, there's a great string of cars behind me.
So I think we're just going back to a further part of that discussion, Brian, which is, what's the basis for these judgments, and has there been sort of technical assistance involved? We're down to our last 15 minutes here. Yes, and then James.
Well, I think the affordable housing issue is really critical, not only to Bowen, but everywhere. And George, you had posted on the forum that there's someone already has volunteered a good portion of land to house the modest from Emily Carr, which is not over, and to do more, to have more volume, and it's land, it's often, I don't remember his name, but it is critical, and I want to go back to the sale of the surplus compound and Mr. Latin. And I think that the bylaw that Michael was referring to has to do with the one that through in August and is needing now an OCP review to increase the debt speed that was proposed at that time. So I'm concerned because I think we need to identify for everybody, if you don't already know, we're talking about the parcels 3A and 3B, which are part of our forested Cooking Park entrance to Bowen Island. And I have a really emotional feeling for those lands, as I think a lot of Bowen Islanders do. So I think we need to really know what lands we're talking about and what needs to be sold and what percentage of affordable housing is going to be accommodated when we say goodbye to that tool. Because that's what will happen if it's developed to the density that's been proposed. It will never, the rest of the park will never sustain that, and we will lose it. So I think we need to be clear on what part we're talking about the surface plans. I don't have a question, I just need to make this.
Just so we're clear on that, for council to move forward on this with staff, there will be a public process. Has to be. So this is a public discussion. It's rezoning. Has to meet all the criteria and process that any rezoning does. So that is for sure there will be a public discussion. Michael, comments on that?
Well, again, it's all going to be based upon what council wants to do, how council wants to proceed. Council will determine and dictate to what extent public consultation could and should occur above and beyond the statutory requirement of holding public hearings. Council could create its own public engagement process, so it's entirely in the hands of council.
Yes.
I want to say that my view is we have to be very cautious about doing any OCP amendments while we're doing the OCP update. And that goes back to the whole question of staff time, volunteer time, money available, and that, again, the point that was made earlier about what's driving the OCP review. We don't want it to be driven by specific developments. We want to be clear about what this island wants, and then we will look at OCP amendments. Or the OCP update will include whatever is being proposed, who knows.
Peter?
I would just add that I think we need to hold ourselves to the same standard that we would make any other development. And the proposal for 3A, 3B involved an OCP amendment. If we came to the decision we wanted to use something which is within the current OCP, which really, the Central Village plans are 3 years old, it really is pretty current, that could be something that we could go ahead without doing that. Still invokes a question of, what's appropriate for those lands. And the other thing we would look at other portions of our community land.
Bob, just could I know everybody's meeting and Peter suggested, yes, and he suggested I just say a little bit more. So if anybody is interested, please just come to me. And so that's all I wanted to say.
But you wanted to actually ask people, I didn't get that, to sign up so they get an idea of how many people are coming here. And so that when they do refreshments and stuff, that there's an idea of that.
Just so you're clear, Morgan is sort of organizing these 2 workshop series, so she's the person to talk to for more information along with Peter, who's sort of got the whole thing going.
Keep leading.
James and then Abraham.
Yeah, it's really more of a comment than a question. It gets back to the surplus lands. I think whatever we do with the surplus lands really needs to be truly cutting edge. It needs to be completely green. I think 20% affordable housing is just a joke. I think it really has to be